Hello friends, long time no see. I got back from Amsterdam yesterday and originally I was going to do a this is what I bought in Amsterdam video, and then I got home and my little brother wanted his presents, and then I just started taking away washing out my suitcase, so I just took out all the stuff that I bought and now it's too late because everything's everywhere. But I had a lovely time in Amsterdam, and what I thought I would do is a Amsterdam book haul, because I of course went to Amsterdam and bought books. Went to the Vincent van Gogh Museum, bought a book there. Kind of a spoiler of what kind of book I bought there, but anyway. And then I went to the Book Exchange, which is the largest English second-hand bookstore in Europe, and it was amazing. I had the best time. It was a little bit overwhelming because it was just like 3 floors of floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. So I mainly went to the sci-fi fantasy bit, and I got some books there. I also found a hidden gem of a book, which we'll get into in a minute, which when I saw it, I nearly screamed. So I thought I'd share with you what books I bought. But also it's been such a long time since I've done just like a chatty reading video that I thought I'd bring you up to speed on what's happening with my current reads. I can't remember how long ago I did a video about my general reading, so we're going to go way back. I want to say in April or March, I read Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. This book was fantastic. It gave me like Rapunzel vibes. There's a trope in it that I love. If you know, you know. The 2 main characters, that relationship they have, that is my favourite trope. If you know, you know. I cannot say it because that is a huge spoiler, and when I read it I was like screaming down the phone to my friend Alison. Yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic book. I put off reading it for ages, don't know why, but I loved it so much. It was a gripping, fast-paced, magical story that completely immersed me and entranced me, and I was obsessed. So if you have not read Defy the Night, hugely recommend that. Like, I haven't enjoyed a fantasy book like this in a long time. This reminded me like why I love fantasy. Then I got sent very kindly an arc of the Do's and Donuts of Love. I love Adiba's books. Honey in a Shoe is one of my all-time favourite books. I love it so much. I just think she has this really gorgeous way of writing contemporary stories that just really draw you in, and the most gorgeous representation done so naturally and authentically. This is a story about a girl who goes on the Great British Bake Off, essentially, but in Ireland, and it's got a sapphic love triangle-ish kind of in there. There's a little bit of potentially of sabotage. It was just the most heartwarming story. It gave me all the happy feelings. I felt like I was just having a lovely summer's day reading it. So really, really happy with that book. I think that comes out soon, June 2023, so next month that comes out. Loved that. Adiba never misses with her books, and this one is going to be another hit. Can't wait for the finished copy. Then I read The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. I think I've spoken about Aidan Thomas on this channel before with Cemetery Boys. Loved that book. Loved this book. This gave me like Hunger Games meets Percy Jackson vibes. Again, with a natural representation, the reminder of how amazing fantasy books can be. The whole world building was incredible. The descriptions of like the cities they visited, the gods, and that like kind of political system with the gods. It was so well thought out, so detailed. Such a gorgeously written book, and I absolutely adore Tio. I adore Naya. I need to look at the pronunciations. I need to get the audiobook out. But yeah, such a beautiful book, and I cannot wait for book 2. And the most recent book I read after all them is The Sun and the Star. Oh my god, where do I start with this book? You know when you love a book so much you don't actually know how to start talking about it? That is this book. Basically it was like the book that we all needed as Percy Jackson fans. I know it's not about Percy Jackson, but if you're a Percy Jackson fan, you need this book. You're going to love it. The relationship between Will and Nico, I love them so much. I just want to wrap them both up in cotton wool and make them a cup of tea. I loved the overall arching metaphor of the book of mental health or mental illness and battles with darkness and light, and how actually we need both as people to make us well-rounded people. The natural discussions of sexuality and LGBT and acceptance, and the adventure they took to Tartarus. Oh, this book was just everything I wanted and then more. Like, it was the perfect Will and Nico story. I adore them. And the Cocoa Puffs, if you know, you know, love them. I want a whole book on the Cocoa Puffs, and I want a whole book on the troglodytes. Is that how you say it? If you've read the book, you know what I mean. I want a whole book on them alone. I devoured this book. I read it so slowly because I was like trying to savour every page. Like, you can only read it once, Layla, so read it slowly to really take it in the first time. Only get that first reading experience once. So I was really savouring it, but honestly, like, I just was completely immersed, completely won over, has my absolute heart and soul, this book does. I love it. And if I'm like this for this book, Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods is going to completely break me. I spent most of this book in tears. In good tears, happy tears, sad tears, bit of all of them. It just left me an emotional wreck. I spent most of this book in tears. Read this book. So after that enthusiastic book talk, I came home to loads of books from Amsterdam, if I can do my editing properly. Here is the clip that I filmed of me opening the books from Amsterdam. Hi friends, so if I've edited this right, you should now be watching me in the past. I've just come back from Amsterdam, literally like an hour ago. I'm literally here in my pyjamas. But I came home to like a massive pile of books and I can't remember what half of them are. So let's open them up and see what these ones are. First one is from Waterstones. I pre-ordered so many books that I can't remember which ones are arriving and when. So it's as much a surprise for me as it is for you. This is the next book in the Final Strife series. It's the Battle Drum and it's the nice blue sprayed edge edition. Oh my god, that inside artwork, are you joking? And it's signed. I loved the first book. I thought it was a really gorgeous story. I loved the world building. I loved the natural LGBT representation. I reread it recently for my fantasy book club, so I'm so excited to jump into the second one. So that's book one. Next up is an Amazon parcel. I know we don't support Jeffrey Bezos, but sometimes I buy off Amazon. I think it's a special edition of Legendary, which has just come out by Stephanie Garber with a nice gold cover, and yes, it is Legendary. Oh, there's these gorgeous like 5-year anniversary editions coming out, and I needed it because we all know what Caraval means to me. We all know how much I love it. How gorgeous is that? I think this is calling for a reread of the series. That's what I think this is doing. So that's book two. Book three is another Waterstones book. Again, can't tell you which one. This is the book I'm currently reading now. I'm currently reading my E-arc because I'm really behind, and it is so funny. Like, I've been laughing out loud on public transport where it's so funny. It is, of course, Yellowface. Look at those edges, and it should be signed. Oh my god, that is amazing inside artwork. I don't know if you can see that. It has the last front by Athena Liu, crossed out and written at Juniper Song. It is signed. I love this book so much. I'm 60% into it, and it's the absolutely like funniest thing I've ever read. It's so like just perfectly written. I will give a full review when I finished it, but yeah, definitely worth getting the special edition for. And the last one is an Illumicrate box. What we've got is, it is my special edition. This only just got shipped today apparently, according to Illumicrate, so they must have just sent that email late and it must have just arrived recently and they've just told me it's been dispatched. This is my special edition of the book that's just arrived. You can probably see it from the cover. This is my Illumicrate edition of Yellowface. So it has the same cover but sprayed edges. You've got the nice ink drip there from a fountain pen. But what I love about this edition is that's so cool, where it's the side you've got like the actual author's signature and then the fake author signature on top. I thought it was a post-it note. It's part of the book. That's so clever. But even better, look at that. You've got the actual, like, the fictional book's cover with the author's name crossed out and rewritten under there with the one who plagiarises it. Illumicrate, I love you. That's so brilliant. And that's ridiculous. But I'm no regrets. Now I'm reading the book, I'm even happier I pre-ordered both copies because it's so funny. And that is my I just got back from Amsterdam haul. And if I've done that right, you've just seen the clips of the books of Amsterdam. So there's my 2 copies of Yellowface. And now let's go into the books I bought in Amsterdam. So I bought 4 books. There's your sneak peek. I did a book video clip in Amsterdam of when I opened my blind date with a book. So I will put that clip here. Okay, if I film the video and I actually edit it right, you should be watching me in Amsterdam opening my blind date with a book because I couldn't wait to get back to the UK to actually open it. It says it is 3.9 stars on Goodreads. Yeah, so they put 4 stars on here. It's got an apple, a star, a man leaning on a unicycle, I think, and it says it's Post-war Brooklyn, dark and immigrant experience, which is why I picked it up. So, I'm going to see what the blind date with the book is. I really hope it's not one I have. It is The Assistant by Bernard Malamud. I probably said that very wrong. The one that has got the biggest pain in the butt and can hold on to it longest without running to the toilet is the best Jew. Morris Boba is a Jew and one of the best. He is poor. He works 18 hours a day in his grocery store, collecting a few dollars at the end of the day, if he is lucky. But he does not complain, not even when he gets robbed one day by a few local hoodlums. Then something strange happens. One of the robbers, Frankie Alpine, a good-for-nothing who has never done a day's work in his life, offers to become Boba's assistant. What is even stranger, Boba hires him. What would a small-time criminal and a suffering Jew have in common? If that's an Own Voices book, and I'm really hoping it is, that sounds really good. So that was my blind date with the book. I'm very, very happy that it's a book I've never even heard of, let alone got. So, Amsterdam, you win. The next book I bought in Amsterdam, well, this was actually the first book I bought in Amsterdam, because that was from the book exchange, that blind date with the book. The first book I bought in Amsterdam was Vincent van Gogh, A Life in Letters. I've been wanting this book for so long, but I had a very strong feeling that I would get the book in Amsterdam in the Van Gogh Museum, so I deliberately didn't buy it until I went over there, because every time I visit a new place now, I try and buy a book in English that I can read, but then I write in the front of it, bought in blah blah blah, on this date blah blah blah. So eventually I'm going to write in the front page, bought in Amsterdam on the 20 whatever it was of May, when visiting the Vincent van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. So I deliberately didn't buy this for ages, knowing I'd buy it in Amsterdam, and I finally did buy it. Essentially, this is the letters between Vincent van Gogh and his brother Theo. They had a really close relationship as brothers, and a lot of Vincent van Gogh's life was actually pieced together through the letters that were found between him and his brother, that correspondence. So this basically puts all those letters together in a book to kind of give us an insight into what his life was like. So I think it's going to be a really emotional read, one I've wanted to read for ages, but I absolutely love Vincent van Gogh. I love his life story, his artwork. I just think he's an incredible painter. He is someone I really admire lots as a person, so I'm really looking forward to learning more about his life through his letters. The next two books are the other two books I bought in the book exchange, so I bought 3 in total. One was The Blind Date, and these are the other two. Like I said, I went to the sci-fi fantasy section and I picked up Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Never read this book, never read a book by Leigh Bardugo. I have lots of them, but I've not read them. But this one I've heard lots of things about and I wanted to read it for ages and make my own opinion. So when I saw it there, it was the last copy as well on the shelf. Hundreds of copies of Six of Crows if you wanted a Six of Crow copy. But yeah, this was the book I picked up in the book exchange from the fantasy section to try and read and make my own opinion on. And then we have the third and final book. This is the book that when I saw it, I nearly screamed. I picked up an advanced reader's copy of And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. This is an arc from like pre-2013 because it says here it's coming out on 21st of May 2013. This is an unreleased advanced proof copy of And the Mountains Echoed. Like, how insane is that was just on the shelf? The Kite Runner is one of my all-time favourite books in existence. Beautiful story, heartbreaking. There's nothing like it. So to find an arc with another one of his books, I was like, this is fate. This isn't even a coincidence. This is actually fate telling me to get it. So, yeah, I now just have an arc of And the Mountains Echoed. How cool is that? And that, my friends, is all the books I bought in Amsterdam. Another angle, another corner, another clip in this video. Because I realised in the last clip, I was like, and then we can talk about my current reads, and then I just didn't. And I now finished those current reads, so I thought I'd just do a reading update to like conclude the whole video. It's gonna be the most like haphazard, all cut and put together clips for you, but it is what it is. So I've just finished reading Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and oh my god, it was so good, so funny, such a dark satirical humour. Loved it, such dry humour, especially if you're like online a lot and you see a lot of like the book drama that happens on Twitter. Very good at like criticising like the bookish community and like publishing as a whole, and I just found it an absolutely hilarious read. And I've never read a book where I've hated the main character, I don't think ever, let alone to that extent. So 10 out of 10 recommend Yellowface, so funny. I also just finished reading Queen of Air and Darkness, which is the third book in the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare, because I had put off that book for ages because book 2 traumatised me so much, and book 3 was a really nice epic conclusion to that series that I love. So yeah, that was really nice. And I'm just about to finish 6 Crimson Cranes for the second time. That is a book that me and my friend Leanne are reading because we both wanted to read it and I wanted to like reread it and highlight it. So we're both reading that together and I loved it as much this time as I did the first time. And that is the book I'm currently reading. I haven't decided what I'm going to read next, but I thought I'd come and give you those updates at least, so I have followed through on my word and told you my current reads. But yeah, now I need to decide what I'm going to read next. But now this genuinely is the end of the video. So thank you again for watching. I hope you're all as happy and healthy as you can be. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you all again soon.